Happy 2018, guys. It's your boy Sleeve, lead singer of the Omega Point. And today I wanted to talk about a subject that's very, very close to my heart. That subject would be the subject of writing. And more importantly, the subject of writing about a feeling, and if you can write about feelings without actually feeling that way. What do I mean? We're going to explore that a little bit in this video, which I am going to entitle Writing Sad. Or maybe I can't write when I'm happy. We'll see which one makes the cut. Now, there is kind of like this expectation in society today to be happy no matter what. You go to your job, you're expected to smile, you go and meet new people and try to start a friendship. Generally, they want to be with positive people. You go on a date, you try to start a new relationship with somebody. Generally, they look for the positive people. They look for like that energy that would suggest that they're overall happy. I think that this is really like something that's been enforced in a way by popular culture. Because popular culture has changed an awful lot. When I was a kid, there were a lot of outlets, shall we say, for sadder or maybe more depressed thoughts. There were a lot more movies that followed those subjects. For example, the movie Heathers were really like movies that I feel like were kind of like darker. They captured the essence of what it was like to be a depressed teen. And you actually had like a way to find yourself in that pain and sadness. Bands like Marilyn Manson, for example, were extremely influential in helping teens understand these thoughts. Trent Reznor was another person who I found hugely influential in this department. Actresses like Winona Ryder, who I still consider the dark queen of the 80s. She will forever be my queen, actually. But she was definitely one of the main faces for the dark, depressed teenager, and eventually the dark, depressed woman in Girl Interrupted. But there was a lot of art that had to do with this kind of subject. And then something changed all of a sudden, and people don't really like to talk about what that was, but I feel like it's very important to talk about when history did change. Because in my opinion, history changed very explicitly and very overnight with the event of Columbine. Well, Columbine was a horrible, horrible event. Obviously, it's a dark stain on American history, and we are pretty much cognizant of school shootings because of that event. So now the dark parts of the teenage psyche were no longer just like cataloged parts of youth. They were warning signs. These kids were now ticking time bombs, and they should be carefully monitored for the art and entertainment that they partook in.
If we believe that all who hear Manson tomorrow night will go out and commit violent acts, the answer is no. But does everybody who watches a Lexus ad go and buy a Lexus? No. But a few do.
That was a really tough pill for me to swallow when I was a kid. I listened to a lot of Trent Reznor. I listened to a lot of Marilyn Manson. Doom was my favorite video game. The 90s were a great time for me because I felt like I actually had like a place to put these dark thoughts and feelings and not have to feel ashamed about them. Nowadays, I don't feel like kids really have that anymore. We have maybe TV shows like American Horror Story, a few horror movies that have come out recently that have gained popular appeal, but it's really not the same. Nowadays we have the mental health culture that is really kind of a joke. I mean, we had Logan Paul the other day pretty much filming a dead body and then telling everybody, suicide is not a joke. It's not a joke, guys. After laughing at the body and putting his camera up and down on it.
We found a dead body.
Completely disrespectfully, and then spamming the suicide hotline, which anybody who's ever had any experience with that knows that that whole system is a total fucking joke. It's really like gotten to the point where we just try to like manage these people in society instead of asking why they might feel this way, if there's a healthy outlet that might help them feel better, and maybe just understanding that darkness and sadness is part of the human psyche. It's not anything to be afraid of. It's not the sign of a defective human being. It's the sign of a well-rounded, intelligent human being who might be intelligent enough to realize that not all of their surroundings have lived up to the expectations that they put upon it growing up. Now, as an artist, and I use that term lightly because I don't want to sound pretentious, but as a person who creates my own art, it's really important for me to put something authentic down. And one of the most important components of that is the feeling behind each song. Now, there's been a hot debate about whether or not you have to feel a certain way in order to write a song about a certain feeling, but for me, I cannot write unless the feeling is authentic. Some people may be able to recollect how they felt in a certain way, and they're able to like put that feeling down a little bit later, but that's not me. I have to be in the thick of whatever emotion I'm writing about. And that's why I believe that a lot of artists have turbulent personal relationships and messed up personal lives. It's really a hunt to understand why they create the things that they do. It's really a dark exploration into your soul, and sometimes when you're not inspired, that leads you to chase self-destructive behavior or start acting out because you need to inspire these feelings that once helped you write some of the most meaningful music of your life or create some of the most inspiring art of your life. And that's why writing happy is really hard. Not Happy by Pharrell. I mean happy like, writing a sad song when you're happy or creating dark art when you're happy. Pretty much impossible. So does that mean you always should chase new lows as an artist? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to go find your local smack dealer on the corner and go start shooting up because you need to find a new depressing low. Please don't do that, kids. But what I am saying is that sometimes you're going to feel sad and you're going to feel bad and things are going to feel ugly. And that's okay because that's part of your artistic identity. You can stand up, you can make sure that you don't get pushed down by society just because you're different and you feel that way, but you also need to understand that there is a productive end to which these feelings can be incorporated. That productive end is your art, and that's what you need to do with it. You need to take every feeling that you've ever been hurt by and use it to a productive end. It's almost like exercising your soul, getting all the demons out. I look at my computer screen, Logic, and the instruments that I play on as pretty much the priest's tools for getting those demons out of my heart. By the time I've created a successful track, I always feel a little bit better. Listening back to successful tracks, I always remember how I felt when I wrote those tracks. It always is like a very, very clear and personal meaning, just like having tattoos can remind you of exactly how you felt when you got inked. Tracks are going to be the same thing for you. So it's okay to feel sad. And sometimes you are going to chase sadness because that's what inspires your art. But my point is, don't let the American cultural shift of thinking that sad thoughts are symptoms of ticking time bombs, don't let that take over your psyche in your life. Create, unabashedly, be you. Don't be afraid of it just because things changed, and make what makes you happy and express the thoughts that you feel like society needs to hear. Because ultimately, you're going to have this soul-crushing feeling that's way worse than sadness when you submit to what people expect of you. You need to do what makes you happy, and honestly, even if that's not what everybody thinks is the sign of a healthy, happy person, it doesn't matter. Because what makes you a complete, fulfilled person is finding out what's important to you, and that doesn't just fit into the binary of happy-sad. Anyways, I just wanted to update everybody on a little bit of what I've been feeling and how I've been writing, and let you know that the next video I'm putting up is going to be a performance piece. So don't worry, I'm not going to babble like this forever, but I am going to be putting up a performance piece for some of my music. I'm going to put up a video for Haunted, performed acoustically, and pretty soon I'm going to start putting up some of my new music videos, so stay tuned. Keep on writing, and don't let everybody else tell you how you should write, because this is up to you, kids. Stay rockin'. Peace.